morning, gals and guys. It's Steph with Tiny's Garden. Welcome back. Today, what I thought I would do is take you on a mostly perennial garden tour for August. Today, it's August 4th, and so I wanted to show you how my perennial beds are progressing. There's going to be a couple annuals here and there, but not many. Most of these are perennial beds that fortunately, I don't have to touch very often. So let's go take a look, starting with this front bed that I recently just planted. In one of my videos, I talked about how I choose perennials for a space. These are those plants. I'll link that video down below. But I finally got them into the ground maybe a month or so ago, and now I want to let you see how they're doing. Side note, some of the wood chips and mulch on here are splashed everywhere. I haven't gone through before I taped this and tidied it up. So there's probably a couple weeds and there's wood chips everywhere from a storm we just had. But hey, as usual, keeping it real. So let's go take a look. I want to show you my view coming down from my front porch so you get how I designed this, because that's mainly what I designed from, is this view right here. Voila. Now I have to tell you, like I said, these have been in the ground maybe 3-4 weeks, maybe 2 for a couple of the trees back there, but these Atlas roses have not looked this gorgeous since I planted them. Can I get a round of applause? Oh my gosh. This lighting is not doing those roses justice, so I'll throw some pictures on the screen of some of these stages of bud and what their color truly is, so you can actually get a better idea of what they look like in real life. But man, what a stunner. At last rose, proven winners. It's like the most purest form of a peach. And just delightful. This is showing its coloring a little more as a bud, and then it opens and it's still pretty much that color, and then lightens a little bit to a little bit of a pink toward the end. I'm trying my best to shade this so you can see it better. Look at those buds and that color. Ugh. And then that is the end of its life. Those are also super low maintenance. I do no deadheading to them. I maybe cut 1 or 2 off, and they keep flushing more blooms. So really, really easy to maintain too. Then starting back in this corner, this is where you're gonna see wood chips everywhere. We've got what I believe is the autumn gold Euchara. I've got to double check. It's inside on my computer, but these I just realized and found for the first time this year. They open up with this red color in the center, and then as they get older they kind of fade and go through a green and yellow. So pretty. And they're not in bloom now, but they do produce really pretty petite tiny blooms at the top. Just gorgeous, this Euchara. Another side note, I'm in zone 5B, so all of these plants, you've got some beeping going on. So all these plants I'm showing you are hardy in zone 5B. I'm not sure exactly when all of them go down, what zone all of them go down to, but they definitely work for zone 5B and will come back every year. Now back here we have Foxglove that I have grown from seed. And as far as I know, these are the peach Dalmatian peach. We've got 1, 2, that first one's clearly the largest, 3, 4, and 5, and they look like they have taken off. They're a biennial, which means they'll put green growth on this year, their first year, and then next year they will flower. And those get very tall, so that should create a nice backdrop here in the back of the bed. Then swinging this direction, we've got Midnight Masquerade, Penstemon. Boy, you know me and my pronunciations. I struggle sometimes. But here is a look at these gorgeous, gorgeous blooms. They're like iridescent purple. That's a better look at the front of them, but can you imagine this whole thing loaded with those? And that deep foliage at the bottom, almost a purpley green. Ugh, here for it, here for it. I'm gonna wait to show you the rest of this bed till the sun goes more down, because you can see it's split. A lot of sun, a lot of shade. These are full sun and they do get a decent amount of sun. As we go back this way, the ones I already showed you are more shade or part shade. So all of these are pretty shaded throughout the day and they'll do just fine there. That Euchara and the Foxglove, and these have done well so far, but these get a little more sun. Everything else in this bed is full sun. Okay, the sun is down. Let's look at the rest of this bed. Starting where we left off, Midnight Masquerade, then we have a trio here, also from seed, of dun, 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 lupin, or lupine, however you prefer to say it. And this is a colorful mix. I'm blanking on the name of it. I'll put it on the screen. Should be really, really beautiful next year. Also a perennial. That will get pretty tall back here and take in a lot of that empty space in the middle there. Looking forward to that. Then over here we have Russian sage. 3 of those tucked in around the lupin. Going to kind of give me a little bit of a border here between this section over here, which was here before, I should mention. This was here, and before we redid the house this past year, this was all grass. Now it's garden. So I kind of like that separation, and eventually it'll all look like one. And I've got some empty space here that I've yet to fill, but bringing up the front, in front of the Atlas roses, we have, I'm gonna double check on the name of this, but I wanna say it's Cherry Sparks Penstemon. Similar but different to the Midnight Masquerade, obviously, because look at this intense color. And these don't get near as tall, so I place them toward the front. In this space here is where I have my tulips on each side of this walkway here, so I left a little bit of space. But with these guys, I love that punch of color that they bring. And I haven't touched these at all, so I could probably come in and deadhead a lot of these and get maybe another flush of blooms this year yet. But like I said, I haven't really touched this space. But overall, you can see now, I'm loving how there's color, there's different texture, and there's going to be different heights through here. Let's move on and cover this side over here. And behind the Russian sage here, we have a scarlet peony, which is just to die for when it's in bloom. Absolutely stunning, and you know I love some red. So we've got that there, which will fill in that space pretty nicely. Then we come to here, which I'm starting to question this choice a little bit because it is very big, obviously. This is one of the first things I put in our property, but it is a gorgeous, I believe, vintage wine hibiscus, and it has absolutely stunning red blooms that are really starting to bud up here, so it won't be long. And this thing is just going to pop here, which I kind of love. I think once this tree back here, let me get closer. This tree here, which I showed you at a nursery, it caught my eye, I went back and got it, finally got it in the ground. It should get 10 feet tall. We've got a ways to go. But once this is taller, I think I'll be more fine with that huge hibiscus in the front. But if we come up close here, I've got a little bit of burn on these leaves, which I don't love, but the ones that do look pretty healthy are really, really pretty. So we just gotta have that guy grow. And on each side of it, We've got a barberry orange rocket, which has this pretty burgundy deep purple color this time of year. But in the spring when it comes out, it's almost like a vibrant red, which I think is going to be electric and pretty fun. Got one here. This should get fairly big. I actually have the tag still on this one, so let's double check. 4 to 5 feet high and 2 to 3 feet wide. So it'll fill in really nicely back here and also in that lower left-hand corner right there. So I'll almost have kind of like a hedge back here. And then some dahlias. So we have HS Date and HS Flame that I planted in here. And I don't know which one is which, but I did a trio. They're all coming up, and I think if we look closely here, one has a bud, hoping to get blooms so soon. But those are like a corally orange, if my memory serves me right. Haven't grown those before, but won't that be a nice pop there when they do actually bloom. Then this guy is a little fighter here. This is a peony. I'm not sure which kind. I know it's something red that my mom bought me a while ago, probably a couple years now. It's just starting to kind of come into its own. Hopefully next year it'll bloom. This has seeded itself. I have no idea what it is. I try and tear it out. I need to use one of those apps to find out what it is, but that's probably not gonna stay there. Otherwise, that is this section over here. Again, like I said, brand new garden bed on this side. I'm really excited to see how it fills in over the next few years. First they sleep, then they creep, then they leap, they say about perennials. And we'll see how she fills in here. Now the next thing I want to show you is a couple things I have going in pots by the trellis over the garage, which I think is going to be gorgeous. So I want to show you those, and then I may have to show you the other front perennial bed in a different video, so this one's not forever long, but let's go check those out. So out back by the garage here, I've got a little project going. I got honeysuckle this summer on one of my trips to a garden center. I will put the name of it, or what I think is the name of it, on the screen. I'm sorry, it's blanking in my memory right now. But what I'm trying to do with it, if you look closely, is train it up this homemade trellis so that eventually it'll climb all the way up and come over the top. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope I can get there. And for the idea of making my own trellis, I knew I needed to figure out a way I wanted to trellis up. I just wasn't sure exactly how. I watched Janey from Dig Plant Repeat. Gosh, I hope I'm not screwing up her YouTube name, but she's fantastic. Dig Plant Water Repeat, I'm pretty sure is what it is. So thanks, Janey, for a great video about trellising. I think she was doing jasmine, but I'm using a very similar method after watching her with these guys. So that is the idea there. I'll link that video down below of hers because I thought it was really helpful. What I'm using here is a copper wire instead, because a lot of our finishes are copper and I prefer that. And then eye hooks. So I'm really hoping this takes, because won't that be so pretty? Trailing and driving up and along there. So cross your fingers for me. That's this side. On this side, I've got my climbing hydrangea that I have planted in a pot by the other side of the arbor. That of course goes all the way across. And this I have not trellised yet, but I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to at least do one panel of this in the front and tuck some of these that I've untangled in. With the climbing hydrangea, it needs a little less help because it's such a vigorous climber as far as clinging to things. Some people grow these up their house, etc., with no trellis. So I think just to get it started, I'm going to go along this front panel here and do that trellis, and I haven't done it yet. But imagine climbing hydrangea over here, if I can get that to climb up and over. So this will be a longer term project. Hopefully in a couple of years to 3 years, we can get a lot of beautiful lush greenery, which I think will really help this side of the house balance out with that over there. Woo! I hope it works. I hope it works. If you have any tips on training either of those, the climbing hydrangea or the honeysuckle, let me know. Drop a comment in the comments below. That would be super helpful because I'm really hoping that project works. All right, everyone, that is a wrap. I'm going to say a part 1 of this perennial bed garden tour video because, again, this was newer. I covered a lot of the plants and kind of gave you the idea I'm going for over here. So this one is down. I hope they get rooted and really get a good start for blooming for many years to come. And then also, of course, the trellis ones by the garage. Oh, I just get, you know, when you get that almost light fluttery feeling inside in your heart when you can imagine a project coming to complete fruition. That's what I get with that project over by the garage. I think it's so magical and charming when you've got that kind of sweeping arbor look with greenery and some blooms. So that's where I'm at. I'm just fluttering over here. I still have some room in many areas though, so let me know what your favorite perennial is. I'm here in Zone 5B as a reminder, and drop that in the comments below. Please let me know. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to follow along with all things garden. It really helps my channel here, and we will see you in the next one. Happy planting, everybody. Am I green? Or wait, green, I mean orange. Oh my gosh. Let's go over colors. Orange, pink, blue, purple, yellow, green. Bye!